Welcome to the Postmodern Art Podcast, the podcast dedicated to giving artists who are wowing the world over the platform they deserve. I am your host, Nathan Ragland, and come join the flock for today's episode. Today we have part of the creative team behind Sheepish, an animated adult series in development about a non-binary sheep trying to navigate through school and life in general. I was lucky to have voice actor Josh Waters, storyboard artist and co-writer Danny Stone, and the creator, Layne Morgan, sit down and honestly cause chaos. Like, this was pure chaos, in the best way possible. Lots of passionate discussion, lots of laugh, my AC unit being on for the first half because I'm an idiot, all sorts of fun chaos. Hopefully, you guys will enjoy the chaos as much as we did. If you enjoy my guests, make sure you follow them in the links down below. If you enjoy the podcast, feel free to subscribe or follow whatever streaming platform you prefer. Make sure to also leave a like, comment, maybe even share the podcast in a few places. If you want another way to represent the podcast, why not try by repping some of the amazing streetwear available at the merch store at pmap.creator-spring.com. From now until October 29th, you can use the code PMAP1 to get 25% off your order. Plus, you may or may not want to keep an eye on the store. I may or may not have a new design coming soon. Finally, if you enjoyed this podcast and want a place to talk about it more, you should consider joining the Apocalypse Podcast Network Discord server, where you can talk about this podcast and other outstanding ones in the network. Maybe you can share a few memes and such. It's all sorts of fun. In fact, let's hear about another outstanding podcast in the Apocalypse Podcast Network.
Art and entertainment inspire each of us in different ways, but have you ever wondered what inspires the people who create our cultural touchstones? I'm Adam Unz, and on the Spark Parade podcast, I geek out with artists and entertainers about their cultural spark of inspiration. Everything from Shakespeare to South Park. You'll hear from artists like Connor Oberst on Northern Exposure, Roisin Murphy on Terrence Conran's The Housebook, and Adrian Young on Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. The Spark Parade, where artists reveal their cultural inspirations to spark the inspiration in you. Find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And now, without further ado, please enjoy the Postmodern Art Podcast. There's one.
Hello.
Hello. There's two.
Hello. Beat you just by a second. Can y'all hear me? Yes.
Hello.
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 It's me, back. It's Bika.
Oh.
I'm a voice actor.
Wow.
I can tell.
I know you
No.
can do Scottish better than that, Josh.
Shut up. No.
Yeah, you can. You literally play a whole Scottish boy.
He's Irish. Get it right.
Whatever. Same island.
Oh, it's just started. There's already chaos. Wonderful. I love it.
It's good. Sorry, I'm literally
You're
saving
getting
out
a
of
quick
work right now.
behind the scenes of how chaotic we always
Yeah, I
are.
was just about to say how chaotic everything we do is.
Speaking of,
Oh, you getting your Dr. Pepper?
I'll say the noise is
it's
confusing.
not. It's not Dr. Pepper.
It's
Damn
a
it,
Diet
talk about
Coke.
this.
Well, I was about to say, I was
I
about to be
know.
right there with you with the Dr. Pepper and cream soda.
I'm sorry. Dr. Pepper cream soda is good though.
Thank you.
Josh is a pleb.
I'm true neutral. I don't drink soda.
You're probably better than all of us, honestly.
And Danny's gonna live longer than everyone.
Danny's gonna live 75 years longer than us.
Yeah. Danny's gonna hit like 185.
There we
Oh,
go.
it's
God,
person
I
ever.
hope I don't.
You're gonna be a vampire, dude, and I wish you the best of luck.
Have fun
Please
being a
don't.
vampire, dude.
Please wish me the worst of luck.
No,
Don't
because
curse
if
me with that.
you're a vampire, then like then there are like no rules, like societal
then
rules
I
don't
can
pertain
bite
to you.
and then Sheepish can go on forever.
Yeah, we will literally be like the most profitable
We'll be
TV
like the
show
first
forever.
episode of Rick and Morty, 100 years.
Rick and Morty, 185 years, 100 billion years, Morty.
Anyways,
Yeah, we're doing a podcast, yeah.
I am
Yeah.
so glad
This
we're
is
doing this. By the way, I wanted to say before we really get started, as I was doing my research and stuff like that, I did notice something. Layne, are you based around Georgia?
Yeah, I'm based in near Atlanta.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say I'm actually based like around Athens, so.
I'm in Athens.
You are?
Oh,
Holy shit!
you caught me in an act. I say near Atlanta to not
All
be
right.
specific.
You
No,
know,
it's just-
you
I
know
do
what
the
this
same
means
thing.
now, y'all. You gotta fight.
I gotta fight. No, I may be the tallest of our group, but I don't know if I'm the tallest of every group.
Okay, Post, how tall are you?
About 6'2", I think, somewhere around.
Uh-oh,
Get rid
no.
of some. Get rid of some.
You gotta cut off an ankle.
Listen, Layne, you can't
Yeah.
let them intimidate you.
Danny, I can definitely let everybody intimidate
You
me.
should. You should, in fact.
No, I was
I
gonna say.
started my job this week.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The self-esteem is low.
Well, hopefully I can help try to bring it up just a little bit. I hope, maybe, potentially. That's the hope with a podcast.
No, I want to watch podcasts that make me feel actively worse.
I believe Joe Rogan's probably the best one for that. No, I'm joking.
Oh, well, never mind. I retract my statement.
Take it all back.
Take it back. Take it back.
You meant like murder podcasts.
There you go.
True crime.
There you go.
Uh-huh.
That's
I
what
imagine
Mark's really
Josh
like.
under a blanket listening to true crime being like, this is scary.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Postmodern Crime Podcast.
Oh boy.
One of us is going to die tonight. I can't guarantee who.
It's me. It's me.
I just got off of a 10-hour shift. It might be me.
I chugged a Kickstart Mountain Dew energy drink. It's definitely me.
Together, we make like one really productive creative.
Good lord.
Oh,
There is
dude.
a moment in the podcast where I just dip for no reason whatsoever. Do not be afraid. That is just Discord hating me with a passion. It tends to happen a lot.
If you're
Don't
gone
worry,
for
we
15
will-
minutes or more, we're allowed to leave, right?
No, we will take over.
It's
we
our
are
podcast.
now
No,
postmodern.
well, that'd be
It's
nice.
hijacked.
Well, that would be nice, except it doesn't record when I'm like it doesn't record you guys
Oh.
after the fact. Like it's recording my screen, so it's one of those. If I'm out of it, the podcast doesn't happen at that moment. So,
Oh darn.
so
Oh, dang. Oh, darn.
We were trying to seize the means of production, and it did not work out.
I mean, if you
Damn
guys
it,
are
we
recording
didn't
on your
realize.
end, it's possible. But I'm not gonna.
I don't know how to do that.
I don't. I know how to, but I'm too
I
lazy
am
to.
on
There
a
you go.
telephone device.
I don't
You
know
are?
how. Danny is incapable, and Josh is like, it's okay.
Well, Danny, the way you do that is you get another phone, you record your phone recording the call.
Oh,
and then,
that's so big brain.
yes, you just gotta
Big
spend
wrinkle
like
brain.
you just gotta spend thousands of bucks to get that second phone here in like what 5 seconds? I think it's possible.
Yeah, totally.
Danny's
I remember
loaded.
when phones cost a corn chip at the corner store.
Lane, what the fuck are you talking about?
I swear phones did not used to be $1 million.
Yeah, they didn't,
Yeah,
but they
I
didn't cost a corn chip.
And a Nokia.
Hi.
Doesn't mean it was a corn chip.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
remember
This is a
when I
chip
got
reader.
my iPhone. I got my iPhone 5C for one dipped tortilla chip, one
got it off-
Tostitos dipped chip.
I got it off of Wish.com. Buttons
Here's my
don't
Etsy
work.
phone.
The screen is only half backlit.
You
but
have
I'm
to
having a good
scream at it for the cursor to move. Why is there a cursor? Who knows?
It's a voice activated cursor. Left.
Guys, I understand we're trying to make a cartoon or whatever, but we just came across the most fucking profitable idea I've
That's
ever
it.
heard.
We're done. That's it. Sheepish is dead. Welcome
Sheepish
to
is
cursor
dead.
phones.
This is why we're on the podcast now.
There you go. There we go. This is your guys' podcast. However you want to be introduced, I'm more than happy to accommodate.
Oh, it's our podcast? Did we seize the means? Did we do it?
We seized
finally
the
did it.
means.
We
Scott
did
Benson would be proud of us.
I'm sure Becca would have made this a million times interesting, to say the
More
least.
chaotic.
This is minus Becca. Becca's probably the most chaotic out of all.
Hey,
Yeah,
shout out to
she's
Becca
like old
Emsley at the bakery in Scotland, and I dabbed for you, Becca.
There you go. There we
Shout
go.
out Becca.
But
Bakery in Minecraft.
Bakery in Minecraft.
if you
People are
three
gonna be
are-
like, "What the fuck are these people talking about?"
All right, before we really get started, I'm going to start with the icebreaker question that I'm actually going to introduce. A brand new icebreaker starting with this new year of the Postmodern Art Podcast. So, I'm partially stealing this from a previous guest, but for the three of you, I want you to think a little bit on this. Let's say you three are told that you're going to be stranded on a deserted island, okay? Now, let's say on this deserted island you could bring one form of media or art. That doesn't mean you could bring like just a book and that's the end of it. But like a single book, like you have access to all books, all video games, all, paint, whatever you want. If that was the option given to you, what would be your form of art that you bring on the island with you?
A VHS of Shrek 2 with all the special features.
I was gonna say Joshua because he's very entertaining. So I love how we're already. I'm trying to think of the serious one.
I have nothing. My brain's empty.
Oh, that's a
I
toughie.
a brain because I really would use one a lot.
Is that your form of media? Is a fucking wet brain?
I like to sit alone with my thoughts.
Joshua A. Waters. It would be every brain in the world.
There you go.
Oh, that is true. That is true.
Whose
That's
brain
a
are you
lot for an
taking to this
island, though.
Our
I
brains
am the
art.
supreme dominant species.
Yeah, our brains art, Danny.
If you want them to be.
That's not an answer.
I'll take that as an answer.
Okay,
Josh,
fine, it's an answer. I'm gonna bring my fucking one copy of Shrek 2 for VHS with all the special features.
I would probably. Oh, like it would be easier if we knew like a specific type of media because it varies from like video games to movies.
Okay.
I guess my modern
I'd
Stardew
have to say
Valley.
music.
Okay.
Yeah, if we're
Valid.
talking seriously, probably music. I sing all the time. That seems reasonable.
There you go.
I'd have to go music as well because like if it was infinite amounts of music, then yes. Like I'd have to go with that.
Oh,
Dude,
that's,
I'm
There's
gonna
that's
so much
valid.
good tunes out there.
I'm gonna learn all the language through music. Music
Oh my
is
God,
a
oh my
language.
God.
I may be stuck on this
Exactly.
island, but I got my Spotify Premium up and ready.
There you go.
That's what y'all just said.
You with AirPods in, starving to death.
Well, that's why you make like the custom playlist that's like "Help Me, I'm Stranded," like the songs that you see. On
My SOS playlist.
there you go.
Castaways. Ahoy there.
Just plays help.
I might have to go with music. You guys have converted me.
There you
It's like
go.
I just imagine me on a sandy beach screaming my emo indie punk, and
There
it's
you
like
go.
somebody will notice that. Somebody will
Kicking
save
sand
me.
around.
There we go.
Falling in my
No.
skin
Well,
on a
but,
beach.
but nevertheless, I guess music being the one that you bring with you, that's a hill that you guys are willing to die on.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm locking in my answer. Do I win?
Yes,
I
you do win.
forfeit my Paula friend.
Yes!
You win a wonderful appearance on the Postmodern Art Podcast. Welcome, everyone. I am your host, Nathan Ragland. Feel free to subscribe or follow whatever streaming platform you prefer. I am a part of the Apocalypse Podcast Network. Go to apocalypsepodcastnetwork.com for more about this podcast and other outstanding ones in the network. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram at PostmodArtPod for future updates and guest announcements, including today's guests. They are a part of the creative team behind Sheepish, an upcoming indie coming-of-age cartoon starring a sheep named Sheepish. Welcome to the podcast, voice actor Josh Waters, storyboard artist Danny Stone, and the creator of Sheepish, Layne Morgan.
Lame.
Uh,
Wah.
oh, wow.
Wah.
I'm awkward.
How are you three doing today?
Doing great. I need to
great.
get dinner.
Same.
Okay, so this is a starving podcast because I haven't had dinner yet either.
Yeah.
Well,
We're all gonna mukbang for this podcast.
There
We're
we
all gonna
go.
get like a big 4-course meal and eat it into the microphone.
I don't think that's the audience we want to.
I think that's what the audience exactly wants.
I don't know about that, Josh.
Well,
I'm gonna go get like popcorn and like crunchy fruit and like a big plate of spaghetti.
I will block you on all forms of social media, Joshua.
Do it, I
Waters.
fucking dare you.
Sheepish will block you on Twitter.
Oh
I will change the passwords.
I want to say, no, it's funny. Josh, it's funny that you bring up like mukbang stuff. I actually appeared on a podcast a while back called Off Topic, to where the topic was mukbang. So
What did you talk
you're like a
about?
pro. Like you know all the research. And
Oh,
everything.
you research. You went like
You, like,
hours and hours Google
you got
Scholars
a
on that shit.
master's.
not oh, this is great. But before we divulge too much into eating just about everything in sight, I want to go back just a little bit with all three of you. I want to know the origin stories, more or less. What got words are wonderful. What got each of you guys interested in art in the first place?
Oh,
Do we want to go in like intro order? I feel like that's
Let's
gonna be like the best way to get through this with.
yeah, so we're
three
not like
people.
all like
That means that first
conglomerate of all of us.
Okay, so I guess art for me would be like voiceover and voice acting. I originally, like way long ago, I had this old Blue Yeti microphone that I used for like online gaming with a bunch of my friends.
Okay.
And I somehow got sucked into the world of voice acting through, there's this YouTuber called Jinja Ninja OWO.
Yes.
They were doing a comic dubbing series, and it was done on Casting Call Club.
Okay.
And that's how I got introduced to Casting Call Club. And then from there, it just kind of spiraled. And now I'm here. I don't know how that happened.
We picked you up
Glad
off the
you're here.
street and we took you home.
Yeah.
I was in a cardboard box that said free.
We're like, this cat has a charming voice. We'll take him.
Oh, there we go.
Danny, can we keep him?
Oh yeah, we already kept him.
Oh, okay. I was
He's
just
here.
checking, yeah.
I'd hope you kept me. I'm here.
I like how we say that, but like his icon is legitimately a cat. Like,
I was just thinking about that earlier
Yeah.
in the podcast. Everyone's gonna look at our icons and be like, who the fuck is the cat? The sad sheep? And like, what is going on here?
Mine is me, so I'm good.
there you go.
You're on
Right.
brand. But
Really
you could also
got
say
you.
I'm on brand.
I am shocked and surprised.
Well,
I'm
speaking of staying on brand, Danny, what got you interested in art?
It's like a little kid that like, oh, you're drawing like triangles. But I didn't have like a super big interest into art until like I'd say middle school, where like I really got into like online animators like Jinja Ninja OWO. Like I got really into
Wow.
Warrior Cats AMVs, but like I never read the Warrior Cats series except for the first book. And then like when high school hit, I just went down the deep end. I was just like, I'm in art. This is my world. But it wasn't until college that I realized that what I wanted to do was storyboard art. So that's where I am.
Well, there we go.
Danny, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
How many times did you watch Jinja Ninja's Moulin Rouge Warrior Cats map?
I hate both of you.
Don't even listen. I was waiting years for that shit, and then she posted the spoof, and I fell in love with it even more. And then she posted the actual one. And I was like, what the fuck? What is going on? This the animation blew my fucking mind. The fire and shit.
I'm glad me and Danny literally started from the same YouTuber.
I'm like, did you guys
Pretty
like
much, yeah.
bump elbows at some
Ray
point?
is like
Yeah,
one of my
we
favorite.
we shoved each other at some point.
I mean, that's how we got here, right?
Love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
It all
shoving.
started with one warrior cat.
It was me.
Josh, the warrior cat.
I'm gonna
Josh,
put you
someone-
back in the box and leave you on the corner again.
Firestar?
And Layne, how about yourself? What got you interested in art in the first place?
Well, growing up, it was kind of like less like the internet. I was less involved in the internet. I was very late to the internet. Like, I've never used Tumblr.
Oh,
Like
good.
we're prehistoric. I was
Good.
like, Mom, can I have a Facebook? And she was like, No. So my dad was actually a tattoo artist.
Oh,
So the one thing we had in common was, art. And so he would teach me how to draw eyes and mouths and the various pieces of a face, and then never taught me how to put them together. love that. Thanks, Dad. And I got to middle school, and got real hyped about like fantasy art and stuff like that. I got really inspired by like emo punk bands, and their cover art and things like that. I was kind of like always in the mindset since I was like a very, very small child, since I could talk, that I was going to be an artist. And my mom would say I was hell-bent on it because, you know, little kid in overalls is like, I'm going to be an artist. And they say, sure you are, honey. And then you do it. And they're like, oh, okay, they were serious.
College kid in overalls says,
You
I want
sure
to be
you
an
are?
artist.
Not much has changed. Same aesthetics. We got a roundabout way of getting there. And then in high school, I discovered like you could do things in animation. I don't know where my brain was at. My brain was like, oh yeah, the cartoons, they make themselves. I don't know how that happened. I'm gonna be a painter or something. And then I realized, oh, I could make the things move, kind of. And now I don't make the things move, but I definitely do design the things that make the things move.
Yeah,
That's
we're all cogs in the machine.
We a good machine. Look at this tractor. It go doot doot.
I was gonna say it's funny. I went to school for filmmaking, and honestly, like your mentality with animation, that was the same with me with like films and such. I didn't realize till I got to college. Oh, people actually make films. Wait, I can make films. Oh shit!
Like, for some reason, it seemed very forward thinking for like all of the like the whole generation to be like, yeah, robots make those. I've also seen a hot Twitter take that was like, adults shouldn't work in animation, only children should. I'm like, have you been under the impression, good sir, that children make children's cartoons? First of all, the legality.
Yeah,
They
Second of
do.
all,
They do, don't they? It's just a bunch of kids on a bunch of Cintiqs.
We shoved them in a room, gave them a cracker, and said, "Go at it."
I'm sure if
Here's
we look
a
at
talking
Korea, there's something
outbreak.
like that.
Oh no.
And we move on. No, well, I was gonna say it's like for me with the filmmaking aspect, I at least thought, okay, like filmmakers, they have to like know somebody in order to get the films, which is not entirely wrong, but you know, like, yeah. Anyways, so for you guys, when did it go from just kind of this like genuine love for this art to a passion and potentially making it your careers?
Do we go in order
Gosh.
again?
Yeah,
Whoever wants to go first. I mean,
I'm first.
Knowing
Okay.
us, we'll all go at once, and then none of us will go.
That is true.
We're like three people trying to walk through the same door. It's awful.
okay, fine. Josh, then Danny, then Layne. There you go. like the intro.
Yeah. All right, so it started to get to the point in like where I started doing a bunch of different casting call club stuff. I swear I looked back at them recently. They're terrible. It's god awful. And I'm so happy. But I did a bunch of those, and I slowly started to learn more and more about like the voice acting scene, started meeting more people, and then I was like, you can get paid for this? This is crazy. And I slowly started to move more into that mindset as I figured out more and more about the voice acting scene, more about the indie scene, more about the pro scene. And now I've got like an agent and I'm doing commercial gigs and stuff, and it's going really well.
Which is incredible, nevertheless. I was gonna say, me personally, I'm trying to get into voice acting myself. So the fact that you're at that point, like, I applaud you, my good person.
Thank you. I tried really hard.
Angel Dust, what'd you get here?
Shut up!
Is that Michael Kovac?
I'm going to sue.
Well, wait, before you fill out the paperwork, Danny, what made this love for art go to a passion and then your career?
So, I guess I can trace it back to, like, my first quote-unquote animation, which was in MS Paint for, like, a book project in school. And I was like, wow, I think I want to be an animator. And then I did animation. I was like, wow, this sucks.
Isn't that the life?
That's a mood.
And so I think that's like the art student wants to be an animator. Most art students kind of take that approach where they're like, oh wow, I really love animation and I want to make cartoons, and then they actually start animating. They're like, oh, do I want to do this? But I learned that in the process of it, I had a class called 2D animation production in college, which is an oxymoron because we didn't do anything. There
was nothing to produce in this production.
I, along with 5 other students out of like 20, like completely carried that entire film, and we didn't even finish it.
Oh,
but
dang.
I animated like probably a third of the entire short, and after that I was just like, damn, I really don't like this. But also at the same time, I pitched like 5 different concepts, and I was like shitting out all these boards like in a week, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't have to draw all the pictures. I can just draw some of the pictures. So that's what I did. And a lot of teachers actually told me that I wouldn't make it. They were like, you're never going to get a job, and like, no one's going to hire you. You might as well just, stick to the fine art world. And I'm like, no, just because your dreams fail doesn't mean mine have to. So, yeah.
Sorry, I'm not getting into the NFT business.
Thank God.
Thank you.
Thank fuck.
Oh man. But yeah, so it's at the end of the day, it's just a love for telling stories, and I choose to do that through the visual medium.
I mean, it's a great way to definitely tell a story more than anything else. And now, last but not least, Layne.
I think, like, again, from the get-go, I was like a hell-bent child. Somebody told me I couldn't do something, and I spent my entire life being like, oh, I'm gonna, though.
You both just made your careers out of spite.
Yeah, well, not like all
It's
art.
not- you're
Like,
not wrong.
I don't think I've met a single artist who's been like, I had good supportive parents who were like, let me do art, and I didn't fight some type of system that was trying to restrict me from doing art as a career.
All artists are punk as hell.
Yeah. Art's
Some of the ones that do NFTs, they don't know.
Except for
No,
them.
that's rich dude bro energy, and I don't want that here.
They're not. They're like using a template, and then they're just adding a bunch of effects to a template and selling it for billions of trees.
It's using those
So many
Windows
trees.
Movie Makers filters.
PowerPoint slide presentation.
So, like, I was always really hellbent. High school, decided to do an art portfolio, and then I really got serious when it got to the point of that in-between time between high school and college, because I had filled sketchbooks. I volunteered at every art show. I took AP art twice.
Nice.
That was all I did. I was the art kid in high school. I was like really angry and bitter like the whole time, but I was there and I was doing it. I was hustling.
Good.
And I got to that in between time of when like the flux of people being like, hey, this has been really fun, but you should really focus on something like being a politician or a doctor. I'm like, first of all, I don't cut people open, and second of all, I'm not a rat. So, here we are. And I got to like that point in applications where it's like, what do you want to major in? And I would be like, one thing really. I would, and I ended up applying to art school, the Art Institute of Chicago, and I got rejected the first time I did. And I went to the college I went to was really stressed out because I applied the week that they were closing the applications, and I joined actually the drawing and painting major because I was like, I'm content with this life. No, I was not, but I was content with this life. And then they announced they were opening an animation major, and my brain went, that sounds freaking groovy, my guy. I'm gonna do that. And I loved it. I ended up staying there, even though I applied to the art school a second time and got accepted. And that's when I started taking things super seriously in college. I was kind of a workaholic. I wanted to do all the extra things. I did a whole lot of things, like the animation club, and was really gung-ho about like making this into a career and not just a fun thing I do. And then I ended up doing that somehow. Because there's like a steep drop-off pipeline after college for like people who go into animation, because it's so intense and rigorous and difficult in a very saturated market. And it's really about who you know. You don't need to go to college to do it. You just need to know good people who have faith in your skills. And also like timing and where you live and a bunch of garbage. So I think college was like where I was like, okay, we're done messing around. This is the trial run to prove everybody wrong, I guess.
I think so far you've proved everyone wrong, so.
I hope so. My mom's like, good job. And I'm like, Mom, Mom. She's like, my kid works at...
Name redacted.
And I'm like, thank you, Mom. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. She's great. I love her.
That's good. That's good to hear. I just like how you're like, Mom, that doesn't go with the aesthetic of me hating everyone.
Yeah, Mom, you're really cramping my punk rock style. I'm gonna go buy a new pair of Converse and dip them in some mud.
There you go.
I'm gonna tighten my hoodie strings so I can't see anything.
I'm putting on more eyeliner so you can't tell I'm smiling.
Well,
I don't know how that would work.
Yeah,
Eyes.
I got lost.
I thought that analogy was terrible.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, eyeliner is going from like the creases of your lips, and then you're painting them down like a upside down Joker smile.
I'm doing the Joker, baby.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but instead we're gonna make you cry.
I'm painting tears on my face
There
with
you
my
go.
eyeliner.
Like a sad clown.
Sad clown vibes.
You're an artist in many senses, and if that's the case.
God.
Anyways, but it's awesome to hear that you guys are like getting these opportunities. It's absolutely incredible. But let's talk about the opportunity you guys are making for yourself more than anything else, and that is this incredible up-and-coming show that you're developing called Sheepish. Now, Layne, you're probably gonna be the one that answers this more than anything else. How did this concept for the show come to be?
I was in college. I was vibing. It was my junior year of college, and I was in my sketchbook, and I made the character, but we kind of collectively made the story, like most of the story. The character came up when I got really annoyed with myself because I wanted to be a character designer. You know, like everybody in animation school is like, I'm going to be a character designer. You know, it's hard, apparently. I wouldn't know. I do backgrounds. Here I am. But I was like, I'm going to practice drawing animals, and I hated it. I did it, but I hated it. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to take what I learned from drawing animals, and I'm going to apply it to, like, character design ideas. And I made this, like, angsty little black sheep in, like, an oversized, really yellow peacoat with a teal scarf. And I was like, ooh, look, you're so angry at the world. And then I actually, at the same time, concepted out Sheepish's mom and Sheepish's grandmother in that span of time, and I just kind of like would doodle this character. There never really showed up in any projects I did in school. I was just like, this is here. I gave it like a bit of a story of like angsty small town sheep, upset all the time, wants to break out and like live their life. And then Anthony and Liam, I was practicing making character sheets, and they emerged from the rubble. I made Anthony, and I loved him from the moment I made him. I was actually really reluctant on
Sweet
Liam's
child.
character design. He's such a good boy.
He is.
I was really nervous when making Liam because I from the get-go, I knew Liam was going to be, like, for like, Liam and Sheepish, I knew that they were going to be queer characters, and I didn't want to mess that up. Like, I'm a queer person, so, like, I know something, I think. But I was really nervous in not wanting to make the character designs, like, exaggerated or caricatured in some way. So, like, I settled with, like, really just following the shape language and following, like real fashion from the internet, like, from subcultures and things like that for each character. And then I met these guys, and they were like, "We like this sheep. Let's make a sheep." And I was like, "Okay, let's make a sheep." And now we have a sheep.
We had a sheep.
We have a sheep.
A sheep.
Well,
We all went to the sheep factory and picked one sheep.
You can have one sheep as a sample.
let me
As a treat.
let me count the sheep. You got 1 sheep, 2 sheep, 3 sheep.
Guys, take the podcast. Take the podcast.
It's really hard.
That's it.
I've got the control panel.
No. Anyways,
Imagine character turns are really difficult when you got to count how many turns of the sheep.
Right.
Like 1, 2. Falling asleep. I get real tired.
hey, you're the one that decided to make it a sheep in the first place, so.
No, I never intended on this being a television show or anything. I was just like, a sheep. Here we are.
So when did it divulge from just like, a sheep to, this would be actually really cool for a show? Like, when did it become more or less a reality to make it a reality?
Well, I think that, like, came around the time that we all met. Like, we met on a previous indie project that is no longer in production. We didn't want to stop working with each other, so we decided to do a pitch day, and we'd pick out whichever thing we liked the best, and we'd try to make it, like, out of passion and stuff. And I wasn't originally going to pitch anything, because I was like, oh, I don't have anything. I'm like this little mushroom kid idea over there. I have, like, this sheep that's way up on a shelf. Like, kind of, I had, like, I didn't write anything down for Sheepish. It was all in my head, and it was very much stream of consciousness that I got really good at repeating.
I think in that pitch meeting, there were about, like, 7 different shows we pitched out from a few different people. And Sheepish was the one that we just had to go with.
Like,
we all were very
really
attracted to
We
the
resonated.
entire idea. We resonated it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there we go.
And yeah.
I was gonna say, was it the pitch day, Danny and Josh? Was it the pitch day where you guys were first introduced with the idea, and what exactly about it just drew you in?
It
So
wasn't
for-
the first time we were introduced to it. In the
Yeah.
previous project, Layne had mentioned very, very offhandedly Sheepish existing.
Okay.
We didn't have a story yet because we had all, once we decided on Sheepish as the idea, and it at the pitch meeting had like these basic concepts that we wanted to explore with it, we went in a bit more deep on the story at that point. But beforehand, we just had a few illustrations and kind of a vibe and a few things that we wanted to discuss through the show if it were to be the one we picked, and it ended up being the one we picked.
So Layne actually told me about it like a couple weeks before we finished that project that we were on. And I remember hearing about it, and they're like, yeah, I don't know what I want to do about it, but this is where the story is so far and what the idea of the show is supposed to be about. And I was like, this sounds really, really good. And then we had the pitch meeting, and all 3 of us, not including Layne because Layne pitched it, Becca, Josh, and I, we were just like, this is something big. Like, we all were just like resonating with it. We were all like queer people in our own identities, and there was something about the character, something about the concept and the idea that was wrapped all around it, that it was something big. Like, it was very emotional. Like, I'm talking, this is a spiritual connection. If I believed in God, this would be it.
There we go.
I don't believe in God. I believe
I
in
believe
sheep.
in sheep.
Sheep God.
No.
Hallelujah.
Do we not remember from the Gartic phone section? Freaking Sheepish is a god.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Sheepish is a
God.
god. A minor god, but a god nonetheless.
Demigod.
Demigod. There we go.
Yeah.
Now, I know we've already talked a lot
Fallen
about
from
it.
grace.
Fallen from. There we go. Fallen from grace. Now we've already talked a lot about
Fallen
Sheepish.
from grace.
We've already talked a lot about Sheepish, but for those who may not already know, how would you guys describe Sheepish?
Oh boy.
Layne, I give the talking stick.
You have
Oh,
the
I got the
conch.
stick. The conch. Sheepish is, like I said, it started with the sheep and then it expanded from there. It's kind of about growing up in a small southern coded area and being a queer person, coming to terms with being queer on top of a lot of other things. Like it's a very interpersonal show. I feel like a lot of adult shows go two ways, like a very episodic, larger world stakes type thing. Like if you think like She-Ra or something like that, very like big world ending stakes, or you go to something that is more like BoJack, which is very interpersonal conflict. Like the world's not going to end if BoJack is an asshole, but it will affect the world around him. Like that's kind of like Sheepish is very interpersonal in the way of coming to terms with conflicts, going to that like age of like you're almost an adult, but nobody treats you like an adult, but you're also still a kid, and everybody's like, well, you don't get to be a kid, but you don't get to be an adult, and also you got to figure out your whole life because you're running out of time. But also like you're like haven't even felt like you've gotten to live yet, kind of like being the literal black sheep, like in your own like societal placement. And each character, Anthony, Liam, and Sheepish are their trio. Each one of them is like to represent a different like social status in like high school. So Sheepish is the outcast black sheep that nobody can seem to remember the name of. Anthony is like a drug dealing anteater who most of his friends are just people who want to buy weed from him, and is very much good friends with
Gifted burnout
kid.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm going somewhere, and then decided I don't want to do that anymore.
There's no place I see going worth it.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't know where I'm at without this like gifted status. And then Liam is like, everybody loves Liam and he's very popular, but Liam is also kind of stuck in the societal like loop of he's very popular with popular kids because of his like queer identity, and is kind of like tokenized on that level, but because of where they live, he's kind of trapped by the dichotomy of I stay tokenized and I stay safe, or I become a target if I'm not within that realm. It's like a weird societal protection, and it gets talked about later. So they kind of converge at this point of like all coming from different hierarchies of popularity, of status, of home life, of wealth, and how they like maintain their friendship, and how their friendship kind of interacts with this like slowly unsteadying world that they're running into at full force, blindly, like running through a very brightly lit door, and you have absolutely no idea what's on the other side, while also like they're like, Sheepish is at that point of I've never lived before, I've just kept my head down, I've kept going, and Liam's at that point of I've done everything that everybody wants of me, I've been everything everybody wants of me, and Anthony's like, I don't know who I am anymore without the status that was given to me, kind of thing. And they're all trying to deal with that, and then also confront past things they've dealt with their whole life, like parents and expectations and all this stuff. So it's very like interpersonal and close, talks about some hard topics, and how society plays a role in how we view ourselves, I guess.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
I I don't know about the audience or whatnot, but I know for me personally, like, I not only understand that, but I, like, completely, like, relate to that personally with, you know, just kind of each person's identity and what they're struggling with is something that I guess for everyone growing up, they struggle with in one aspect or another. For the most part, there are some people that, you know, everyone reacts differently, but I know that for a lot of people, like, that's a constant struggle in one aspect for another. I was going to say, Josh and Danny, is there anything that Layne didn't say that you guys want to add when it comes to the description?
Yeah.
No, Layne pretty much covered a lot of it. Danny knows a lot about it as well.
Yeah,
but
Danny
like,
helps. Me and Danny co-write it.
Okay.
So
it's a very personal and dear to us project because, like, with all of us growing up in kind of southern coded, like, smaller towns, we have a very personal connection with one or another of these characters, possibly all of them. So this is very much a passion project.
Me
for
writing
all
all of them. Oh, geez.
Oh, geez,
Oh,
that's
geez.
me's.
Yeah, going off of what Layne said, like, with how relatable all the characters are, like, I feel like no matter what your life trajectory was and is, you can find some kind of, I don't know, like, resonance with the idea of being a black sheep, because I have, and I'm pretty sure we all have, because it's just like, it's a trope, and it's a really well-written trope because a lot of people can relate to it. And so I think the real draw of Sheepish, at least for me, is that you can just plop yourself in any of the characters' shoes at any point in their story, and you can get it.
yeah, and if you can't resonate with one of the main three, there are side characters who have, like, deeper things going on. Like, Rodney is a character that we haven't, like, fully talked about with everybody.
He's like infamous.
Yeah, he's infamous. He's our little
People know of
awesome
him.
boy.
He's a little dirt man.
He's very much like that incel-y, terrible boy you met in
Like-
school
Like,
with a superiority complex.
like southern boy, like, likes to wear his boots dirtied up,
Yeah.
revs his truck around
He
town.
has like a net back baseball cap.
Yeah.
He's just
We all know
gross.
him.
He's gross.
You know the one.
But like
I
can
think we
say
all
that
know
I
the
love
one.
Rodney.
Yeah, we all know the one.
Spits dip on the floor.
He's not as southern coded as that in my
Right.
mind.
I
He's
know.
very much
Yeah.
like a Jersey redneck,
Okay.
I guess.
Okay, fair
So
enough.
like a northern redneck. Like similar but different, I guess, just an accent.
Maybe that's just my projection on him.
But like he's objectively in description a terrible sounding character, but I love him because I know what he goes through and how he changes as a character. There's also like Avery, which Danny made, Avery, and a couple of other characters who come into the fold. Like Sheepish's mom is like a thing that we talk about, and
Oh, Sheepish's mom.
Sheepish's mom.
Mom.
Sheepish's mom. Oh yeah, love Sheepish's mom.
A big thing with Sheepish is that you see all these descriptions of like small town life being comfy and cozy, and a lot of this description of high school life being like best years of our life. Or if it is shown off in any like negative capacity, it's like cartoonishly like
I'm gonna shove
simple.
you in a locker.
Time for a
nerd.
swirly,
Give you a
dweebus!
swirly.
Like, yeah, we're trying to
nutty,
show. We want to show this without like the rose-tinted goggles that it's normally shown with,
Right.
and give it for what it really is, which is just a mess.
You're like, who fucking likes high school, really?
Yeah, and like
I would say the people that like
Small
high school are the
age in
people
high
that
school.
are the people that like high school are still in their hometown, like going to like high school football games all the time.
Either
and such.
that or like they haven't matured past high school, which is really sad because it's like there's so much of the world out there that you just gotta experience and you can't stay in your bubble all the time. So it's I think it's gonna be really refreshing to write a story that doesn't focus on, like, yes, we have tropes, but like it's not like the high school tropes of like, oh my god, I'm going to prom, oh, I'm gonna ask this boy out, I hope he says yes, sort of thing. And it's like, it's complicated. Like, children are fucking savages, dude. Like, they just,
Especially nowadays.
they're insecure, they're hormone ridden, and they just want to take it out on the world, and sometimes you're in the way. So it's
Collateral damage.
yeah, that's like that's the life of Sheepish. They're collateral damage for everything.
It's also at a certain point in it is, sorry, my whole brain thought just went away. It's kind of like,
We're passing the brain cell.
yeah, like in the story, I don't think it would be acceptable to like paint each of these characters as good people. I wouldn't paint them as bad people. There are very, very few characters in Sheepish that are unforgivably bad people. Like, I'm not into the trope of no one's evil. And it's like, no, some people are evil.
Everyone can be
some people are
redeemed.
really bad. Like, but I don't think like everybody is terrible, and it's very much you get to see the sides of everybody's life, and then you get to understand why people are doing what they're doing, even though they seem like terrible decisions and horrible things to do. You look at the perspective of their life, and it's like, well, I see why you're doing that. None of it's meant to be an excuse for any of the characters, but it's kind of to be that insight of no, but everybody, I think currently
Everybody has something going on.
Yeah, I think in current day, because of social media and everything, we think that we know everything about a person and their lives and can make and pass judgment that way. When we can't, we really can't. We don't know what's going on in their lives. It doesn't mean it's an excuse, but it's like if you are genuinely not understanding why somebody did something the way they did, it's probably because you just don't know them. Like, it's kind of it does, like, some of the characters do get really dicey later on in like what we have planned story wise, and it's kind of like in the Owl House. I don't know if spoilers for Owl House.
No
Unless-
spoilers, please.
unless somebody
had
had okay. Spoilers for Owl House. In the show, The Owl House, you think Amity Blight is a terrible person for stopping being Willow's friend, right? And then you get the perspective that Amity was pressured by her parents to not be friends with Willow anymore. And that context of, I didn't want to stop being your friend. I had to stop being your friend because there were going to be really, really big bad consequences, like that I didn't have control over because I am a child. If I don't do this thing, like that this kind of like, it's an explanation for what happened, and it is up to everybody else and Willow to accept that for what it is, or to forgive it or whatever. Like, you know, like that's a big part of the show, is like the things happen behind closed doors that not everybody's privy to the information about.
Exactly.
I guess.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of the things I absolutely love about this concept. What little we have seen so far is the fact that more than anything else, it seems just grounded more than anything else. Because it's not like as easy as it would be to go out into the world and just point, that person's absolutely amazing, that person's the worst person in the world. There are occasions like that, but for the most part, everyone's got something different. Life is a different experience for everyone, and I appreciate the fact that with the characters that you've developed so far and the things that you've shown us, it shows just how real life can be, even with these unique characters that you don't see in everyday life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that I don't know. I'm sorry if I took the words out of your mouth or whatnot, but that's
No. It's a good
No, you're
summation.
correct.
Yeah.
I mean, another major like thing with that is obviously the representation you've had with each and every single one of these characters. Like, you've emphasized that, you know, they're all part of the spectrum in one aspect for another, or most of them are in the spectrum one aspect for another. But at the same time, you're not parading it around like some shows might do. You're just okay, this is that. Like, yeah, they are this, they are that. How important was it for you to have that representation the way that you're showcasing it?
Representation was really important in the whole process of like casting, writing, everything about that. Because like when we were casting, Josh,
Yeah.
you remember I was like, we were really hell-bent on picking a non-binary voice actor for Sheepish. Like, I didn't want to compromise on that.
That's something that we pretty much were very focused on trying to get for Sheepish. We want to make sure that, especially in the voice acting side of things on my end, that people are represented in their roles. Because the stuff that somebody who's actually experienced can bring to a role, and how much people who have roles that are like near and dear to their heart because they feel like them. That's important to have, especially like in voice acting.
And as like, for me and Layne, like we're both non-binary, and I can't speak entirely for Layne, but for me at least, it's refreshing and it's validating to see someone come in and kind of take the reins and be like, yeah, I'm non-binary, I'm going to do my best, and I resonate with this character, and I'm going to really fill in the shoes, pretty much. So like, I'm very excited to like see the end product, no matter how it comes, when it comes. Like, I'll be there, duh. Like, at least I hope I will be.
I sure hope so.
I hope so.
I'm not kicking you out.
Danny, you're fired.
No.
Oh no,
Josh, you're fired.
No.
Oh no, it's a firing triangle.
But yeah, it's. I know I'll definitely get emotional about it. Like when that day comes.
I'm gonna cry.
We see it on screen, and we're just like, oh my god.
I'm not gonna show up. I'm gonna be in my bed sobbing.
Yeah.
I
will never shut up about Sheepish.
The first time it goes on air anywhere, I am going to be curled up, fetal position in a ball crying. It's gonna happen.
Hopefully we'll be all in Scotland, just like partying.
Yeah, we're all
We've made this like agreement that we're all gonna go to Scotland to see Becca,
and then maybe live there. Who knows?
Yeah, and then maybe live there.
maybe stay, maybe never leave.
Take me with you.
But it was really important, and I think Kieran is like the best person we could have picked. Like,
they are.
I remember we were
for the role. They have
we
brought so much.
Yeah, I remember we were going through auditions, and I was like, oh, I'm torn between all these people. And then I got on Twitter, and I was scrolling through Twitter, and I came across a voice demo, and I like went to Josh. I was like, hey, points at phone, what about this one? And then it turns out they auditioned and was one of the people we were debating between. And I was like, this works out great.
There you go.
Yeah, it's
like,
lucky there.
As my grandmother would say, it's a God thing.
It's a God thing.
It's a God
Jesus
thing.
did that.
I'm gonna have Liam's mom say that.
Yes, please.
It's written.
It's a God thing.
I was gonna
It's
say.
too late, Danny. You spoke it.
There you go. I want to say I'm glad that you brought up the casting, because the casting you've had so far, it's only the main three so far, but even then, like having Kieran Strange, absolute amazing casting choice with that one. Having correct me if I'm wrong with this one, Anthony being voiced by Brendan Blaber, or Jello Apocalypse, which, believe it or not, this is the second time I have mentioned he's been mentioned on this podcast, because he is also voicing the lead for Wildcard, and I had that crew on the podcast.
He's a dandy dude.
He's a dandy mandy.
He's a dandy dude.
And then for Liam, we got this like new up and comer. I'm trying to the
I
names
don't know his name.
Fucking dumbass.
we have
Absolute Claude.
absolute Claude. No, I'm joking. We have the wonderful Josh here voicing Liam. I want to say, like, when it comes to the casting and such, like, I can only imagine with the help of No Studio in particular, if I remember correctly, because I remember seeing the casting call through there. I actually tried to be Anthony, but you guys went with Joe. No, I'm joking. That was actually the better choice, in my opinion, a million times over. Great job, having him on board. But when it comes to the casting, like, how important was it? Like, how tough was the process, I should ask, when it comes to finding each of these characters?
Well, I met Josh and I was like, hey.
Yeah, that
was
was a lot of that was on me and Reese. Reese spent a lot of time going through
Gosh, Reese.
so many auditions that we got for each character. I don't remember the exact number, but it was a lot, trust me.
It was
But-
two.
It was 2.
It was like, I think we got 600 for Anthony, and like
I apologize for mine.
like 600 to 800 for Anthony, and then less than that for Sheepish because of our prereqs.
Specification of they should be non-binary.
We got backlash for that. It was so upsetting. I was so
Shrug.
mad. I was like, how dare. Don't come into my sheep house and demand things.
My sheep house.
My
But we spent a lot of time whittling down the list before we heard a lot of it, because just making sure that there was like an audio check on everything. So some of the auditions just had to be like tossed because audio quality wasn't up to snuff. Some of them had to be tossed because like didn't follow anything at all.
Right.
So we end up at the very end of auditions with our top 10s in each of them, and we spent exceedingly long. Me, Layne, and Reese.
It's my fault.
It's fine. We got an amazing cast, and they were all unlabeled. We didn't want to completely do bias on any of them.
I
because
think I insisted to go through the first 10 all the way through, and I could tell everyone was so annoyed.
No, I wanted to hear all the first 10.
I think everybody was like, God, Lane's never going to pick anything.
So we went through all of them many a time. We debated on them for quite a while. And
So long.
we had a lot of very, very talented people come through. And we just eventually landed on the ones that we landed on.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, once it comes to the point where we need more characters, we'll have another.
Right.
But I'm not sure when that will be.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that Liam guy can deliver, because I've heard shaky things about
Hoping that
before.
Liam,
Yeah, he's pretty shy.
that
can tell
Liam
you
guy's
about
gonna get
Josh's
kicked off, and you can get an
audition for
audition. Oh, can you?
I have Josh's audition for Liam on the iPad I'm talking to everybody through. I found it the other day again.
You
Oh my
found
gosh.
it?
Josh auditioned for both Liam and Anthony, and I
You
went,
can't send either of them in this chat. I hope you know.
hey, Sheepster.
Hey, Sheepster! Yeah, I'd use that.
That is not the voice.
I used that voice. That's what I sounded like.
Well, you're fired.
Post, there's an opening. There's an audition happening right now.
No.
No, but like it's incredible to know just kind of the amount of effort and more or less a labor of love this project has basically become at this point. I mean, with how much you guys have invested in it so far, are you guys with how much you guys have invested so far, as well as kind of what you've shown to the people, you've already developed like quite a following with this, I've noticed. Are you guys surprised with how much people are loving the project already, even though there's, a few things in comparison to what some people might be teasing for stuff?
Layne
I will
is.
say, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was very nervous when we were reaching 1,000. I was like, what is going on? Like, I am not prepared for all these people. They're looking at us. Close the blinds.
Oh, yeah. Josh
I've
and
been-
Becca are like the higher extroverted ones out of us. Me and Danny are like, we're gonna take cover. We're gonna go stand over here. You guys do this.
I'm not gonna touch it.
Which is really funny because we like write it. We're like, oh, here's all the things about the characters, and we're like, oh, you have. I gotta go. My mom called.
Oh goodness! I mean, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's amazing how grounded these characters are. That makes people instantly able to connect with them. I think that's. You can correct me if I'm wrong. That's what a lot of people seem to be connecting to more than anything.
I'm very happy that they are, because that's the idea.
That's what we're going
trying to do. But like it is really touching, because like I think, what was it, like the first like above 500 followers, like we got our first fan art or something, and it was the cutest drawing on like a piece of paper, and I'm like, I want to hang it on the fridge.
Oh yeah,
it was so sweet.
I
And
love
now,
every bit of fan art.
yeah, we get fan art every once in a while, and I'm just like, this is real. This is real.
It's
like we're
happening.
doing something, and people are watching, which is amazing, but also terrifying.
I can only imagine. Goodness. Well, I mean, I can tell you right now, at least, personally speaking, the fans are absolutely excited for whatever you guys are going to be making next. I know the big thing that's been teased is maybe potentially a Kickstarter. Correct me if I'm wrong.
We are looking into like a couple different avenues with
we have a
getting
few
Sheepish
options
produced.
that we're looking through. We were originally going through like full steam ahead towards a Kickstarter, and now we've had some other things come up that are also options.
Ooh.
And we want to explore our avenues, is all I am saying.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there are some things we legally just cannot say.
Yeah.
No,
We're sorry.
I would say, trust me, when it comes to NDAs and all
Sorry,
stuff
but
like
no,
that,
we'll close the door.
when it comes to NDAs and all that kind of stuff, trust me, I do not want you guys to have this dream crush just because you said one thing a little too much. I completely and utterly understand.
Yeah.
There's still full possibility that we end up going through with a Kickstarter and having that go through, because we have our trailer is still in production. It's pretty far along into said production, and we would definitely have that on the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, more than anything else, it's nice to know that the options are there.
Yeah, for sure.
Animation is expensive.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's very, very expensive.
Check
Trust
out
me.
our Patreon.
Check out our Patreon.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm already part of the Patreon, and link will definitely be in the
Oh,
description
thank you.
below. I was gonna say Lane should already know
You're
that I
a
was
good
part of the Patreon chat with the Discord server, which
Oh,
you can be
yeah.
a part of
Yeah.
which you can be a part of if you were part of the Patreon.
There's also a general Discord.
Yes.
But yeah, we're active every once in a while. We try to keep in touch.
Yeah, we do try to stay active. It's a little hard for some of us. I think Josh and Becca are in university, and I'm currently working full time
Right.
in background art animation for a studio. So we have like off and on again times of like interaction. We try, but we're also a lot of like introverted, very skittish people.
I mean, if nothing
So-
else, just like the characters, you guys all have lives. Everyone has a different experience of what they're going through.
Yep.
But, yeah. But
Yeah.
but nevertheless,
People do got lives.
they do have lives. But nevertheless, I want to ask, with everything you guys have got invested so far, and seeing kind of the support that's already been there in one aspect for another, how's the entire experience of developing the show been for each one of you?
I'll be completely honest. It's been one of the coolest things that I've done.
There you go.
Yeah. I think
I'm so honored to be a part of such a cool team of people making something so personal and dear to all of us. And I am so excited every time we get an update or every time we see something progress. It's amazing seeing this keep going.
I'll have to agree, because like when the project we were on before finished wraps, I got a message saying like, oh hey, do you guys want to come, or do you want to come to this pitch we're gonna do, and like we would love to have you on as like storyboard artist for whatever gets chosen. I'm like, really? You want me?
I remember
I do that.
it was me, Josh, and Becca who were like, "Oh yeah, this is good. We'll do this." And I was like, "Hey, we should invite this Danny kid." Danny.
I mean, I still have those moments where I'm just like, I'm doing something. Like it's hard to remember, because like I said, lives going on.
Right.
This year, past year, utter shit fire. But
Tell me about it.
remembering
yeah.
that like
Oh.
I'm in this project, it's like, I don't know, every once in a while you just gotta stop and be like, oh my god, I'm a part of something that's like bigger than me.
Oh yeah. Like when we started this, like Sheepish's, I believe Sheepish's birthday is November 24th, because that was the day we started. We agreed to do Sheepish.
Mhm.
So Sheepish is a Sagittarius.
Oh, I knew it.
Sorry, I know we were aiming for Aries because of the sheep thing, but it's not going to work out.
It just isn't.
I remember leading up to that, like the pandemic hit when I graduated college, and so I was inside and I met these ones on the other project, and then that project closed, and I like throughout that whole time, I was like really depressed. Like I was burnt out beyond all belief.
Oh, yeah.
My senior film took everything out of me. And then we started doing this, and it was like fast from the get-go. Like I started producing a ton of artwork right off the bat for it, and it was like, this is what we're doing. A sheep, we have motivation again and friends now. And oh my god, how'd this happen? And so it's all been great. Like we contact each other like almost every day. We are in constant loop, which is like crazy because like before oh yeah, like you were in Cali and then Becca's in Scotland, so that's like an 8-hour time difference. I was like, I think I would rather die.
It's a good thing we're like we're now limited to 2 time zones now, so that's a little bit better.
Nobody move.
Uh-oh.
Unless it's Josh closer to the East Coast, but
Josh, come on.
East Coast sounds boring.
Josh, come down here. Come on.
Ohio sounds boring.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna
Ohio
say you're gonna
sounds
say
boring. Ohio is boring.
wait, sorry.
At least there's like water.
Well, I was gonna say when it comes to Ohio, isn't like the joke? There's a joke. What is it? Ohio has like the most astronauts, so you know Ohio's bad when people are literally leaving Earth to get out of Ohio. I mean,
There's a lot of people that don't want to be here. It sucks ass.
Josh is one of them.
I'm one of them. Get me out. The force field's
Josh won't
keeping
come
me
down
in.
to Georgia.
Be a beach boy.
I can't be a beach boy. Ohio doesn't have a beach.
Boy.
Josh will literally
No.
burn in the sun from his Ohio cloudy skies. Like he will turn into a toaster crisp. Like bad.
I was gonna say, Josh, if it makes you feel a little bit better, I was born in Illinois. You see why I was forced to get out of there.
One of those states with
you
too
know
many
the feeling.
vowels. That's where y'all are from. They're from states with too many vowels. Josh, like 75% of your state is vowel.
I mean, Layne, you're speaking pretty high and mighty for someone who lives in Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
for
got a
someone
G,
living in
we got an R,
Georgia.
we got another G. We got 3. We got 3 constants. Josh has one whole consonant.
I do.
Yeah.
This is something I must live with.
But going back to our conversation before we divulge too much into going to the 50 States song. Anyways, but with all that you guys have developed so far, for the fans at home, what should we expect in the future?
I think we are still in development. We do have an animatic for the trailer nearly ready. We're doing notes and stuff on it. And we would like to come up with funding to get it animated because we're kind of a group of people who are designers and storyboard artists and not animators. Well, Brooke animates. And I don't
But
want to.
we're not gonna ask her to do a
Or do
4-minute.
everything.
I'm not gonna be like, hey,
No.
can you do all of this by yourself? Thanks, bye. Like, no.
Sayonara, here, take it, and we'll leave.
I love
Sayonara,
Brooke. Brooke does a good job.
It's wonderful.
Brooke does a good job, and I'm like so scared of Brooke. I'm like, I've met people who go to Brooke's school who work with me now, and I'm like, you scare me. What is happening? I went to a state school. Y'all are like, I'm here. Wow. And I'm like, I'm blinded. Stop it.
Whips hair sparkles.
Yes. Pretty much how it is. That's how every meeting is every single
Very
day.
exaggerated animated sparkles, mind you.
There you
Yeah,
go.
anime eyes.
Oh, goodness. But I mean, nevertheless, I know that sorry, Dan, do you want to say something?
Oh, no, you're
Oh,
good.
my bad. I was gonna say, nevertheless, like I know whatever's gonna be coming next, I'm gonna be one of these several at this point, and hopefully a hell of a lot more before too long. That's gonna be absolutely amped for whatever's going forward. But let's dream up something a little extra. Let's say I'm Big Shot Mr. Moneybags. I come up to you guys, I'm like, look, what you guys are producing is absolutely amazing, and I cannot get enough of it. we want to create basically the dream project for each of you. So given, resources to everyone that ever exists in the industry, and more money than there should be available, Jesus Christ, someone take this money away from me. What would be the dream project, and why is it just a full-on sheepish 20-season run?
I don't think a 20-season run.
20 seasons.
If we're trying to make a serialized thing, it might poop out at season
it's
4.
gonna end, and Sheepish is in retirement and is senile.
Sheepish is old and dead.
Like, I used to be a cartoon one
We've talked about what best case scenario would be, and I think we decided on a 3-season run would be best thing, with a possibility for a short epilogue season. I think we would prefer it be hand animated too, which is unfortunately more expensive. Well, not unfortunately, I appreciate artists' artwork. We don't have that much money at the moment, but if we did, all hand animated, we kind of taking a book out of Alex Hirsch's page of having a definite end for your series, because sometimes you get the rug swept out from under you, and it's oops, didn't see that one coming. So we have a whole timeline written down of where we're trying to head story-wise and arc-wise and character-wise, because it's very character-driven.
It's actually a very hectic timeline, because we have this giant doc, and each character has
their own shit going on,
and then each character also has their own timeline area, and it all lines up with each other. And
I spent so much time writing that for everyone. I was don't talk to me, I'm busy. Because up until that point, I had written nothing of Sheepish on anything. And this was in the last 5 months that I wrote this doc.
Layne and I, we got together for, I think it was just, a week straight, where you're just all right, this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and, Layne, what's happening here? What character does here? Blah, blah, blah.
Don't touch that, it's on fire.
Within that week, we drew closer as people.
Oh, yeah. And we have a meme document. Meme document. I love the meme document. I love
that.
Meme document. Oh, I got.
It's literally in the doc that's Netflix approved, not Netflix approved. Please do not open. I think
we have it sealed with a fucking wax stamp.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I would like to
got
request
a pentagram on it.
Okay, I gotta start getting lamb's blood or something like that, so I can get access to that document, because that just sounds.
Oh, it's good.
It's great.
I
like to think we're fun.
I remember the time we sat down and told Kieran everything that was going to happen in the series, and Kieran was like, "What the heck?" I was like, "Oh yeah, this is fine."
By the way, this happened. They're just like, "What? Oh my god!
What did I get myself into?"
Precisely.
Oh yeah.
You mean this sheep does this?
The sheep could do that? What?
What happens to the sheep?
Poopy.
Me and Daniel are on the same wavelength, because we know what the is.
Those are some weird
That's
sounding
the whole
owls.
season.
Whoops. Whoops.
Anyways,
The entire series is just Sheepish slipping over bananas that get increasingly larger and slippier.
Yeah. Slippier. Covered in baby oil. Leave it alone.
I have several questions, but I'm not going to ask. Anyways, but sadly, we gotta come down from the dream scenario. We gotta get back to reality just a little bit. And I want to ask the ever so generic question: where do you guys hope to see yourself, say, 5-10 years from now?
Oh God! Hopefully making the show.
Yeah, hopefully making this show.
Hopefully making this show.
Close to finishing it. That's not realistic.
Yeah, no, animation's a hot minute.
But if we're talking 10 years, then yeah, it should be finished.
The entire thing done.
All of it. All 2 episodes.
Why does that make me sad? No.
All 2 episodes. Oh no.
All 2 episodes.
I'll get
3
somewhere.
seasons. How does that work? I won't tell.
I won't tell.
I won't tell.
I'll never tell.
I don't think there's any need to tell. Anyways, as we're winding down this interview, I just got one last question I want to ask you guys. Obviously, each of you are heavily entrenched in art in one aspect or another. How important is art, not just for you, but for the world as a whole?
Whew.
That's a big one.
That's the big. That's the one that I got asked a lot in art school.
Really?
Why is art important?
Why art?
Why?
Why do art do how?
I feel like everybody just needs to express themselves in some kind of way that's healthy. And a lot of the time, that's through art. A lot of the time, it's through animation, through shows, through cartoons, through voice acting, through acting. A lot of that is just expression of yourself. And if you can't do that in some other way, then art is the best way to do it.
And I think at the end of the day, it's all about human connection, and art is all about finding yourself, but and also finding yourself in other people's art, and asking questions, and just constantly questioning what's around you. I think that's the big point of art, is just you want answers. You want answers of who are other people? How do they live? What do they feel? What do they enjoy? And so I think at the end of the day, art is all about just getting to know your neighbor, getting to know the world as a whole. There's so many art forms from so many different cultures and so many different countries, and it's all beautiful.
Yeah, I think art, especially in the context of entertainment, is really important in the way of keeping everybody sane. Mine's a bit more one. It keeps everybody sane, especially in the world we live right now. If Netflix and YouTube and everything did not exist during the COVID-19 pandemic, everyone would have lost their entire mind.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was one of the only things keeping society together as a whole was ooh, Netflix. Now I can channel my unbridled rage. That's kind of what happened. And it's important to keep people entertained and remind people they're not alone, and that through characters and stories that situate to realize that your situation, even though it sucks, somebody's been through it before. Somebody has dealt with this before and they have made it through it, and I don't know,
You can too.
it's hope. It's hopeful.
Yeah.
I can't think of a better way to word it myself, honestly. That's all the questions I have for you guys. I've already showered you all with a bunch of praise, but I'm going to shower you with more because it's my podcast. I do what I want. Obviously, I've said...
Yeah, fuck the rules.
Fuck the rules.
Fuck the rules that you have stated and now you're enforcing. Let's go.
I just want to say, I first heard of this project, through the casting call for the characters, because I'm, like I said before, I'm trying to get into voice acting myself. But even past the casting call, seeing what you guys have, and seeing what's there, and seeing just how much love and support and passion is going into this project more than anything else is absolutely outstanding and wonderful. It is something that I instantly grabbed a hold of the instant I saw even a hint of these characters. I cannot get enough of what I've seen, and to know that it is in the hands of a wonderful group of people that are just as passionate as anyone could be for a project, it makes me excited for whatever's going to be happening next, because I know that whatever story is going to be told is going to be one of the best stories ever told, no matter what. So I want to say to each and every one of you, thank you for what you've done so far. Definitely keep going, because this is going to be something special. I personally think this is going to be something absolutely outstanding, and I cannot wait for the finished product, however that may come one way or another. And I know I'm one of the few right now, but hopefully one of the many in the long run that is going to be rooting for you guys every single step of the way. So thank you for what you're doing so far, and thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
us. Oh, me and Josh had the same line.
Same thing.
Josh, read
your line off your card.
Stop it.
I gave you the cards for a reason. No, you're looking at mine.
We shall leave in it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry. We're a bunch of weirdos.
And you know what? That's what's gonna make the show absolutely amazing, because if it was done by straight-faced people,
Normal people.
and if it was
I
done,
was gonna say straight people.
I was gonna say if it was done, if it was gonna be done by the normies. I love how Danny said no straight people allowed, and then I got kicked from the call. I see how it's gonna be.
Oh no!
Destroyed.
I literally said after that, I was like, "Oh my god, the podcast is gonna end on that. We're gonna get canceled."
Demolished. No straight people allowed, and then you get evaporated.
I'm gonna say I am an ally at the very least, but nevertheless, I like how that was said, and then I'm the one that's kicked. I see how it's gonna be. I'm not in control of this podcast anymore. Apparently, Danny is.
Yeah.
Danny, stop stealing things.
Stop stealing.
Stop it, Danny.
Give it back. Give it back.
Okay.
Aww.
Okay. Deep breath. Everything's good now. Everything's recording.
Oh, yeah.
That's wonderful.
Good.
Everything's okay.
Okay.
For the people that don't already know, go ahead and plug your stuff for the people at home.
Oh shit! Do I know my ads?
I know my ads.
Josh knows
I
everything.
know all. Hello. Follow me at TunnelVA on Twitter and Tunnelberg on YouTube. Also, look at my website, Josh A. Waters Voices. Let's go.
Hey. I just sold your nuts. My Twitter is at Danny_Stone_. My website, if you want to check it out, is DannyLion.art. Okay. And that's it. Yeah.
You can follow me on Twitter at Layne_M_Inc. because I'm complicated. You can also follow the Sheepish Twitter at Sheepish Series.
Yes,
also,
I believe there's an underscore in between. Or
There is not.
No, there is not.
There's not. Okay.
You can follow us there. We also have our Discord link up there as well. If you want to join us in Flockcast, where we do streams and games and have a good old time, you can contact me at my Twitter. And my website is laynemorgan.ink, like ink, for portfolio and any business inquiries.
And also, lastly, don't forget about the Sheepish Patreon, which you guys should all be a part of.
If you can afford it, time is tough. Times are tough right now, so only if you can afford it.
Time are tough.
Time are tough.
Oh, Danny.
And nevertheless, if you guys missed any links, I'll be sure to add them in the description below. Yeah, words are wonderful. Good Lord.
It's late. Let's blame it on the hour.
Well,
it's late.
Yeah.
Well, before we really end it, I just want to ask, do you guys have any final words before we sign off?
Drink your milk.
Don't
die.
Don't drink milk. It's a scam.
No,
They
drink your milky.
make your tummy
Feed a
hurt.
baby and drink your milky.
They're trying to put they're trying to put chemicals in your bones.
Escalated. They're trying to put chemicals in your bones. Don't be afraid of things. Don't die. Drink milk.
Get vaccinated.
Get
vaccinated. Get the fucking shot.
I don't.
Get your battle scars. Be all
anti-vaxxers.
cool. Get vaccinated.
This is my own
Wear
opinion.
your mask. Be a good citizen.
Yeah.
of
Wear a
society.
mask. Get vaccinated.
Wear a mask, people.
Deep state's not real. Thank you. And good night.
Good night.
With that, all I have left to say is hasta luego, mi amigos.
Tell me what's wrong, tell me sparks in motion. Sing me a song, tell me your eyes can all open. Show me it all, pick me up in the car you drove when you used to call. Show me it all.
Thanks for listening to the Apocalypse Podcast Network. For more great podcasts, go to apocalypsepodcastnetwork.com. And remember, every time you support one of our sponsors, you're supporting the podcast you just heard.
I really hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. This was an episode that I've been wanting to do for a while, since, what was it, February? I think that's whenever I initially got in contact with Layne, not too long after the initial casting call happened. Because I just fell in love with this show. Like, this is a show that I'm going to be constantly keeping an eye on in one aspect or another, because it is, like I said in the podcast, is something else that I'm absolutely hyped for. I hope y'all are doing well. I know with all the weird stuff and the weird times going on, especially in animation, I hope that everyone is able to do well. To distract your minds a little bit, something that I have been getting into recently is Twitch, like full force. I'm going to partially blame the people behind this podcast. Hey, Becca. Mainly with Sheepish having their little live streams and such. So being part of that. Artsy Grandpa, obviously. How can I not? I mean, they were the ones that really actually introduced me to VTubing in the first place. And also Roya, Roshan, I believe is how it's pronounced. I could be very wrong. But, they have been getting into VTubing themselves as this cute little, like, nebula cloud. And I guess they were kind of the gateway to a lot of these art Twitch streams and, like, gaming Twitch streams and such. My wallet hates me because I want to support these artists, and so I will, like, gift subs. As a matter of fact, one of the occasions, I was actually gracious enough to get the clip for it. But there is a VTuber out there that goes by the name of Indie Alpaca. Absolutely just like a ball of energy. And they apparently do this little song that I'm about to play whenever they get a sub, whether it's, gifted or not. I just want to play it for you guys because I was laughing with joy because I was honestly touched with this silly little song more than anything else. Just check this out.
I wasn't really feeling it anymore, so... Oh, what?
Postmodern Art Podcast gifted a tier 1 sub to Churro Hubby.
Postmodern Art Podcast, thank you so much for gifting that sub! Holy guacamole! I don't know if you've ever gifted a sub or subbed to my channel before, but to say thank you for your gracious gift, got a little song for you. Thank you for the sub. I appreciate the love.
Got him.
Thank you, Postmodern Art Podcast, for gifting that sub. Thank you for the love. And so thanks to the cool folks like you that I can afford all my Mountain Dew. Postmodern Art Podcast, thank you so dang much for gifting that sub to Churro Hubby. Thanks to you, Churro Hubby's now gonna have some alpaca emotes.
Like, that's the kind of energy and the kind of love for an audience that I try to have with my own stuff. I will say, in their case, I'm not going to say they're one of the bigger names out there, but they got quite a following. I've seen a lot of their stuff on Twitter when it comes to how to handle a lot of the bot raids that have been going on. On the flip side, though, as much as I love some of the bigger streamers and I love the content that they're pushing out, I got a soft spot for the people that are starting out. Like the people that have like a few viewers for their stream and such. There was a stream that I was watching one evening of an artist by the name of Sensation, I believe is how it's pronounced. I'll be sure to have their name up and links in the description because, I joined in for a second and I thought, they were basically making doodles and then making creatures out of their doodles. And some of the art that was being showcased, like, I thought it was cool. I thought it was nifty. I get the sub, and the guy, like, he was cool the entire time, but he was also, like, excited to just show me everything. Like, I don't know if it was just because my name was Postmodern Art Podcast on Twitch, but the fact that he went through and showed me, like, all sorts of different art and such, all sorts of, like, works in progress, it was great. It was great to see kind of this love for their own stuff. Which, by the way, I'm waiting for the Egyptian drawing. If they're listening, they know who I'm talking about or what I'm talking about. But the fact that, you know, I came into this stream and there was, I think I was the only viewer there. That's something I've heard that is an issue with Twitch, just kind of that discoverability. It's one of those, you have to have an audience somewhere in order to drive them to your Twitch so you can get a big audience on Twitch and then be promoted by Twitch, which is kind of ass backwards as compared to like YouTube, to where you could just be recommended just about anything, people big and small, just based on a few things that you like to watch. That's basically my long, round way of saying that I want to help the art community as a whole grow. And my conversation with Sensation, which is like they were talking this entire time, and I could tell that there was a love and passion for what they did, and like they definitely wanted to keep going, and that's something that I wanted to support more than anything else. Yeah. I hope that they get the opportunity. I hope this podcast brings in a few more viewers for them. If not, well, maybe I'll have a spot for them in Amateur April for them, if they don't blow up by then. But nevertheless, if nothing else, if you're just enjoying this podcast at the end of the day or whatnot, head over to Twitch for a little bit and look up the art streams. You would be amazed how many artists are actually over there just looking for an opportunity. And you'll be surprised how passionate and personal they want to be, because they're bearing their souls out just like any other artist in this industry. So support an artist today.